It's War Dragon time! RPW here with another video to the Beginner's Guide for War Dragon series. Today we're going to go over wars. Now this will be the very basics, there will be future videos coming. But who declares wars? First of all, it is only going to be your leadership. That's your leader or your officers, and they can go in on the left-hand bottom side and they can choose a team from the current league you're in. You can't attack anybody at war outside of your league, only within. So they're going to go through and they're going to decide what team best matches your current situation. We're going to choose someone with a few less players than us because we know that we've got about 3 to 4 players that are out right now. They're not going to be able to do any kind of wars. Now, one of the things you need to know is your team has to have medals. In the league that we're in, we need 400,000 medals in order to declare a war against another team. Your team gets these medals by each and every player doing attacks. And every time you earn medals or your leader earns medals or whatever, it all goes into a pool that you can use for these wars. Okay, once a war has been declared, you will get an email letting you know that a war has been declared and how much time you have before this war begins. That's why it is so important that you guys keep up with your messages. Check those messages daily. Okay, on the right-hand side, you're going to see a diamond. This is going to be your war menu. And whenever you go into this menu, you can check and see if you have a war that you need to do. Check this. Every time you see something over there going on, make sure you check and see if you need to do a war. We'll go over what that looks like once this war begins. So if we click loners, we're going to notice on the top left-hand side that we already have 20 flames and they only have 0. And that is because they're actually missing the 4 players we mentioned. If you scroll through the entire team, you can look at the levels and so forth and kind of get an idea of what you're going up against and kind of choose in the beginning who you'd like to attack. Now remember, you can't attack until it begins. But if you'll notice down here, we have 4 players. This is empty slots. These slots give us the 5 flames automatically. So we're already ahead of the game by 20 flames. Okay, on the right hand side under contributions, you're going to see defense 0. This shows you your points on your defenses. So let's go ahead and fast forward this and get to a war. Looky here, guys, it's magically 8 hours later. I am a little late in this because I did have to work. So let's go see what's already happened since I've been gone. Okay, when you first go in, you're going to see on the right hand side, the diamond is going to have a timer on it, a new timer. And when you click on there, inside you're going to notice there is going to be an alert that is a red diamond with an exclamation mark. This means you have not attacked yet. So if I click go on Gentle Giants, I'm going to be able to see the changes. I want to be able to see that, first of all, there is flames going down that other people have gotten. If you noticed, one didn't get his 5 flames. We're going to go over that in just a few minutes. And somebody else left the team, so we got flames for that, which we will also go over. But what I really want to focus in on is the defense points on the top right. Do you see the little green exclamation mark? And it says defense 8. Let's go through that a little further. All right, so over in loners, if I click defense, I'm going to see how much defense points we have versus what they have. So literally click the little button. It's going to say that we have defended 29 times and they have defended successfully 12 times. So that number is that team's amount. Oh, look, we have a war invite. So if we jump in with them and we do a war attack, we're going to be able to back them. Now that I'm in here, I'm stuck. Never, ever, ever leave your battle buddy, particularly in a war, but you really shouldn't leave them at all unless you're asked. Let's say that they're attacking a level 100 and you're only a level 6 or a level 16 or a level 30 and you can't back them and you've come in second, then there's a very big chance that you're going to be asked to leave because you're not going to be able to help them finish this base. So that is pretty important. Now, if you'll notice, they're going through and they're doing their attacks, and there's another player in here, Anya. Now, Anya is backing them, so I am going to be in 4th place. However, if something would happen to where she does not work out, like let's say he can't finish this base on his own, and then her connection goes bad, I could end up being the second attacker in this attack. So this is why it is so important, if you're going to be in and jump in, that you need to stay in, particularly during a war attack. Now, with the contributions button on the top right hand side, the leadership can go through this list and they can remind people, hey, you've got a war going on, make sure you do your attack. So that is something that only leadership can use. Oh, we've got a defense invite. Let's go in. Great time to show an example of defense. Okay, so whenever they start attacking, a lot of players will really beef up this small island. So I particularly will come back and start on there. I will do my super shots, my shield, and my sword. And then if you'll notice, I grab my hammer, but I don't drop it. I wait till he begins attacking, because there's no point in rebuilding something before it's been destroyed any. That is just a waste of your resources. All right, so now I'm going to make sure I use my last little super shot thing here before the next one comes up, and start adding these ones in. And again, I'm going to put in my sword, and I'm going to hover. There we go. And then they should bring up a third dragon here. And we're just going to simply do the same thing. Add super shots. And bring in a shield. There's really not time for a whole lot of stuff, so you guys just do what you can. And we defeated him. So not only did we get a defense for our team, but we got points for ourselves and the person we defended. I'm sorry, prizes. So that is one awesome reason to definitely do your defenses. Okay, so back to the team war in progress. So again, they can go through and they can remind the players, but let's go look over at the Royal Guardians tab. In here, you're going to see who has been taken out. Their name is going to be crossed off and the flames are going to be there. Let's say you need to leave a team and you don't want to be there anymore and you're in the middle of a war. One of the things you can do is at least do your war attack and wait until there's flames against you. This is because the flames are what decides who wins. Whoever gets the most flames wins. Now, if you'll notice down here towards the bottom, somebody who only got one flame is Nadine, and she could have retried this attack. She went a little over her head and didn't have backup, but because she didn't retry, that leaves this attack open for someone else on the team. So we're going to go through and we are going to finish this attack for her and gain the 5 flames for our team. But at the same time, now the leadership needs to email her and let her know, hey, you need to redo your attack on another team member because now you have 0 flames of contribution. Okay, so again, in this one, there was another person who did not get all of their flames, Hadida, for example. So we're going to go finish their attack for them as well. So before you go choosing your player, make sure that there's nothing like that on your roster of your war where somebody didn't get their full amount of flames, and see if you can't get that for them, because they may not come back in there, and those 5 flames are pretty important. Okay, so let's get moving on to the next part. How do you choose your opponent? Well, you want to choose someone that you know you can beat without backup. The backup should only be there in case something goes wrong, you miss something or whatever, because you can't always guarantee that someone is going to be able to back you. But if you're looking for backup, then I suggest that you go into team chat and you say, hey, I'm going to be attacking Team Gentle Giants, and it's going to be a level 57, and of course make sure you put the team member's name, just a part of it, demon, and that you need backer. Okay, put that out there and wait for someone to respond. You're going to have a response, and I always suggest tagging the person's name when they, of course, respond and say they're backing you, and then you tag them back to make that a clear understanding that you guys are helping one another to everyone else. Then do your attack. Now here's a few bonus pointers that I want to point out to everyone. Before you choose your member that you're going to attack, check the team chat. If your team has a war chat, then make sure you check that as well, and see if anybody has asked for backup and look and see if they include what team and what level or whatever, because if you attack the same one that somebody else just went into, as you come out, you're going to find that there is no flames for you because you just double attacked a player. So, and the first player that finishes is of course going to get these flames. So that's one really big tip. The second tip is making sure that you double check after your attack to see if you've gotten your flames, because there's going to be times when people don't check before they attack. Now, another one big key thing I want to point out is the way people do wars in silver versus gold versus platinum all the way up into sapphire and diamond are going to be pretty different. You know, in platinum level, it's going to be a little more intense, but not super intense like something in sapphire, where they do things they call waves, and you are basically directed on who you should attack. And then if you're down in, let's say, bronze or silver, it's pretty much a free-for-all. You do whatever. But once you get up into gold, you probably want to try to practice with your team, creating some kind of organization. Now, we are a gold level 2 team, so what I try to do with my team to kind of give them practice for as we grow is I tell them to, of course, put in the team chat, hey, I'm attacking this level and this player, so that nobody else, of course, double attacks, and so they can get practice for in the future if they decide to be in a different team that's up in a higher league where they can get prepared for the idea of doing waves. I don't know that we're going to do that. We have very independent players that like to do their own thing, so we do at least ask that, and it's pretty simple. Okay, so let's go choose another player, and I'm going to show you one more time the example. When you go into your team chat, not league chat, but when you go into team chat, you are going to say, hey, I'm attacking this team and this player, which is this level. Would somebody please back me? Now, being that this is the second time I've attacked in this war, I'm going to ask the same backer to back me. And in my team, I generally say, please stick with the player you've backed until they've completed all wars. Okay, so another little tidbit, whenever you're getting backing, try to remember that when you go into an attack, if you use a bunch of spells, you're going to use up all of your rage. So you have two options. One, fight until you die, but try not to use a lot of spells. At least leave half of that bar for them, for example, and then swap it out. Or B, completely just swap so that they have what they need, unless you are simply going to be able to take this out and they're there to help clean up anything you might leave behind. Now remember, at the end of attacks, double check that you got those flames. And be sure to jump in there and tell your backer thank you. Okay, so let's do a quick recap of what we learned and what we need to know about wars. Number one, always check your emails, because this is going to give you information on the war, like when does it begin. Number two, if you don't get the 5 flames that you needed, then be sure to try it again, even if it means you need to ask for backup. 3, choose a player that you can beat without backup, because there are times that you can't count on that backup because they may accidentally join someone else, or they may find themselves in a situation where they lose connection. 4, arrange for backup even if you can beat it by yourself, because there are times you're going to find that you miss something, and that backup is super important. Number 5, do not join a war invite unless you know you can help them. Unless, of course, they've asked you because they know you can come in with Death Gaze and finish a farm. If you do happen to join, make sure you pay attention, because they may ask you to drop so the person behind you can back them up. Number 6, always double check that your flames have counted. So after your attack, go back into the war, make sure there's not an exclamation mark, and look and see that you've gotten 5 flames before you move on. 7, check your team chat, or if your team has war chat, before you choose a player, in case somebody else has already targeted the player that you may end up choosing. 8, be active so that your team has the medals to declare a war. There are people that will complain there's not enough wars, but maybe it's because your team doesn't have the medals to declare them. 9, be sure to defend your teammates, because it will be the tiebreaker. Number 10, encourage other players to do their war attacks. If they're a new player, they may not even realize there is a war going on or how to do it. So kind of help them out. 11, don't attack if the leadership is preparing to lose on purpose. And lastly, wars are not able to be declared during PvPs. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed today's video, and remember, this is a beginner's guide, so there's a lot more information on wars out there. And I will be bringing out a video in the future explaining in a little more detail as to what else you should know about wars. But I just wanted to kind of give you guys as much information as I could right now that I feel you can use. I do apologize, this video is like 15 minutes long, but again, I hope it was useful. Be sure to comment in the video below if you have any questions about wars, and I'll be sure to answer them. And don't forget, guys, if you liked my video, support me by giving me a big thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And if you click that little bell, you can get notifications every time a new video comes up. Happy hunting!